So I've often said that more money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. I know that firsthand because I was living check to Monday, making 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, $90,000 a month. It didn't matter how much money I made. I always found a way to be broke. So I had to check what I thought was the asset that I had to get to wealth. I had to check the fact that I thought I was smarter than everybody else. I had to check the fact that I went to some of the greatest schools in the world, high schools and college. I had to check the fact that I had the solution. And the truth is, there are laws of abundance that will help you get to the next level. And when you obey, identify, and put these laws into place, then you will begin to see how your life can truly change. So what I want you to do right now is get pen and paper, get started so we can go through the laws of abundance. The first law is this. It's called the law of difference. And if you are looking at other people and you're looking at how they are successful and you're looking at how they have achieved their goals, it's okay to emulate some of the positive things like having a positive mind, having a positive energy, looking at the glass not as half empty or as half full, but as having the potential always to be overflowing. If you start to think about those things, those are some of the similarities for people who are truly operating in abundance. And I'm talking about peace, harmony, joy, and yes, financial stability. But the truth about the law of abundance is this. The law of difference says that your difference lies in your importance that is only distinct to you. Let me say it another way. The law of difference says your difference decides your importance and determines who pursues you. Now, let me give you an example. When I first started talking about finances and how I was going to help people, I was asked to come to a big event. There were hundreds of African-American women at this conference, and the average salary in the room was well over $400,000. So when I was invited to be the speaker, I was invited with a specific, topic list of things that I was supposed to address. And I knew that there were many other financial professionals who existed. I don't need to say their names. You know who they are. And they are all great in their own right. But the law of difference told me this, that I had to stand out and do something that was different. And the thing that was different for me was that I had a different experience. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I did not go through high school and college understanding money and never making any mistakes. The thing that was different about me was that I had messed up every single thing that I could possibly mess up. I had lied, stolen, all of these other kind of things. And it's just the truth, because let me tell you what the stealing part is. When you say that you're going to pay somebody and they let you walk out of the store and you give them a credit card and you sign your name and say that you're going to pay, and then that bill comes and you don't pay, then you just stole that material. Let me be really, really clear with you. You just stole that material. And I had to realize that about myself, that every time I had broken a promise to pay somebody or to pay a department store, to pay a credit card bill with a full understanding, knowing many times I knew I couldn't pay. I was just on a wing and a hope and a dime trying to figure out how I was going to get it done. I often got into financial situations without a plan. My plan was I'm great. My plan was I'm smart. My plan was I will figure it out. But the truth is, mathematics does not need to be figured out. 1 + 1 = 2. The science is always the same. So what was different about me in the law of difference is that I had a different experience. So I chose to share that experience with those women. I went to that meeting with all of those executives and I told the truth. I talked about being born and raised in the projects. That was strike number 1. I talked about being raised by, a single parented household, basically my grandmother who had an 8th grade education. That's strike number 2. I talked about going off to school and getting so many credit cards and I couldn't pay anybody. That was strike number 3. I talked about then getting into a position where I was making money because I was helping people get their credit and finances straight, but I still wasn't making any. That was strike. Well, I was making money, but I wasn't keeping it. That was, I don't even know what strike I'm on. I just had so many strikes. And the truth is, when I started talking to those women about my experience, I will never forget the first lady. She was so well manicured, St. John suit. She threw up her hands and she started crying. And she basically said she wanted to be free. So the law of difference, me choosing to be different, is what made me stand out. And that's who decided to pursue me. So if you are trying to get to the next level financially, if you are trying to figure out how you're going to break through, if you're trying to live in purpose, which will ultimately manifest in abundance for you, because it is only when you are doing what you know you were put here to do that you can actually truly operate in the spirit and the energy and the freeness of abundance. That I'm going to tell you to embrace what is different about you. Forget how they did it. Forget what their story was. Forget what their walk was. What is your path? Because I promise you, there is somebody who needs your path. There is somebody who needs your testimony. There is somebody who needs your story. There is somebody who can get the glory. Yes. And all you have to do is apply this law of abundance. It's the law of difference. Your difference decides your importance and determines who pursues you. Who needs to pursue you? Is it single mothers? Is it single fathers? Is it people who have been disenfranchised? Is it folks who are struggling, suffering? Is it folks who've elevated? Whatever it is, the different thing about you is what's going to manifest your harvest. The harvest is here and the time is now. And I am challenging you. I'm challenging you to find out what is different about you and to embrace it. And you can do that all the time at askglenn.org. So what is the action of the day? What is the word of the hour? The action of the day is to be you so you can do you. Be you. The law of difference says that there's something different about you. And that difference, if you embrace it, manifest it, nurture it, and invest in it, that difference is going to determine who pursues you. There were many different social media platforms out there. I don't even remember them all. But then Facebook came along. There were many different versions of computers that were out there. But then Bill Gates came up with software called Microsoft, and IBM came up with a machine, and Apple came up with things that were different. It decides who pursues you. Now, the action is to be you so you can do you. And in doing you, apply the laws of abundance. Let's go through all of them. The law of difference, we just talked about that. It says that your difference decides your importance and who pursues you. The law of the mind says your mind is your greatest asset. Do you have more money in your closet than in your house, or in your house than you have in your mind? If so, then we've got to figure out where we're going to now place our investments. We're also going to take action on that knowledge. And finally, we're going to choose how we apply that knowledge. We're going to use good, positive, loving, open energy with the knowledge that we get. The law of recognition says everything you need is near you, merely waiting on your recognition. The law of 2 says 2 are necessary for multiplication. 1 can slay 1,000, but 2 can slay 10,000. Go and get a partner. Teamwork makes the dream work. The law of place says where you are is just as important as what you are. And within God's vision, there is provision. And that vision may also mean a place for you. Okay? The law of honor says who you choose to honor determines your success. I say dishonor no one. Disagree agreeably. Don't burn any bridges. And of the law of the seed says seed plus expectation equals harvest. So the word of the hour is Jeremiah 29:11, where God says, I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Hope and a future. So your present today doesn't have to be your tomorrow. Your past, you can't change it, but you can make a new decision today. And I am here. I am with you. I am ready. The harvest is here. The time is now. The season is yours. The reaping is yours. It is all yours for the taking. Doesn't matter what you did. Doesn't matter what you didn't do. What matters is what you do right now. Go and get everything that God has for you and apply the laws of abundance.
Let's talk about real estate, real estate, real estate.
Hi, I'm financial expert Lynn Richardson. You've seen me on Good Morning America, The Breakfast Club, and W.E.A.L.T.H.y. I'm so excited about sharing with you the Home Buyers Club. It's time for you to get the home of your dreams. No credit, no problem. Low credit, no problem. No down payment, no problem. I am excited about you getting a piece of the American dream. Join the Home Buyers Club today.